2025. Please call the roll.
Mayor Kus?
Here.
Mr. Preston?
Here.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Here.
Mr. Byers? Mr. Roberge?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. McCarthy?
Here.
We begin, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a light agenda tonight. We have 2 items on omnibus, and I would take a motion for that.
So
Move
moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask if anybody wanted to pull. Does anybody want to pull? Items on the omnibus are approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 6, 2025, and a report to receive and file town of Normal expenditures for payment as of October 15th, 2025. Please call the roll.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Roberge?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. Those 2 items are approved. We have 1 item of general orders tonight, a resolution to authorize the purchase of 4 pieces of permanent art to be installed in the planned sculpture park at 1 Normal Plaza for a total amount of $69,750.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Reese, did you have?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm going to ask Cultural Arts Director Beth Wisman and Mr. Johnson from the McLean County Arts Center to come forward. I think they have a few comments to explain what we're asking of council tonight, where we're at with the implementation of the public art plan, and I look forward to the conversation. Thank you.
We do have a presentation. I don't know if I need to do anything to make that switch. Hey, here, look at that. How convenient. Thank you for having us. We're excited to share the progress of our public art working group. This conversation started way back in 2019, if you can believe that, when we had our first meeting. So we'll just give you a progress update. I asked Doug to join us. Uh-oh, that's not showing. Hang on a second. Did I hit the wrong? Yeah, there we go. Our public art working group, several members are here in the audience tonight. Others were watching on our YouTube channel, and still others sent emails commenting on their pleasure of working in this process. And Doug Johnson, who has been the head of the McLean County Arts Center for how many years?
23 years.
23. I knew it was around 20. He is, the official arts agency of the town of Normal. That's what the McLean County Arts Center is. And so it's very natural to work with Doug when we're doing a project like this. The most recent project that we would have been working on would have been the artwork in this building.
Yes, yeah. The mayor kindly appointed me to be head of the team that selected the artwork for Uptown Station.
And then, of course, Sugar Creek Arts Festival, which was a lovely success this year. So the public group that you're looking at the names here on the list, this includes staff, but also local citizens, art patrons, artists themselves, people who are in the neighborhood. And also, we specifically wanted to invite a member of the Illinois Soldiers and Sailors Children's Home to be a part of this, and that is Denise Higgs. She's not here tonight, but Ruthie Cobb, who is our local historian and friend, is here also representing that group. It's important to point that out because this is a historic site that we're working on. That is the morning routine of children at ISSCS was to gather around the flagpole. That's where the screen space is. And so we wanted to make sure we were looping in people, making sure that they had an opportunity to see some of the plans and to ask questions. And the biggest concern I think people have when we talk to them was they just want to make sure that it will be taken care of. And if it was to be vandalized or something, it would be taken care of. And obviously we do that. So to look at how we arrived here most recently, we had sent out a request for qualifications in August. We had 20 artists submit for consideration, which we felt was a pretty healthy number.
Yeah, very much so.
From across the country. There were many from Illinois and the Midwest, but we also had some from California, Louisiana, Missouri. So it was from all over the country. And Doug and I met at the McLean County Arts Center and went through all 20 submissions. And each of those 20 artists had anywhere from 1 to 10 pieces they submitted. So it was quite a bit of work So thank you, Doug, publicly for doing that work with us. And then we reviewed that together, and we made a opportunity, a matrix that Doug put together for the artist to start helping winnow it down. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So we looked at all the artwork, and there were a lot of submissions that were really fantastic pieces, but well outside the budget that we would have at this juncture. There were some things that would be, a single piece alone could be 3 times.
We were very clear in the RFQ what the budget was, just so you know.
But because it was so well publicized, we received a lot of applications from artists that were looking to find a way in, perhaps even for future consideration. So we winnowed it down to what we thought would be the most appropriate work with actually a lot of Illinois artists that were amongst that pool. And then we ensured that the works that we'd be presenting would be available. Oftentimes artists have a packet that they submit. We wanted to make sure that we were presenting a reasonable amount of work for the committee, and that the items we would be discussing would, of course, be on the table for purchase if possible.
And that's a lot of real-time discussion and contact. Again, thank you, Doug, for doing that, being able to talk to artists in their language, helping them feel comfortable. This is the first time the town has done something to quite this scale for sculpture. So these were sculptors that we had not necessarily worked with before. So
And a lot of other communities have already established public art. Peoria has regular displays of public art on their art walk. The city of Urbana has a long-term, multi-decade project where public art is placed in downtown Urbana. Much of it is in their case, is rented, so it's there for 3 or 4 years, but they have some permanent things as well. So there's a lot of precedent for communities having public art. It certainly speaks to business leaders and people that are looking to relocate to a community when they can see that there's investment in cultural enterprise.
And so as the group started, we met in person to talk about the pieces that they liked, why they liked it. We talked about, so part of having town staff at the table was nice, you know, Doug Damery coming in from Parks and Recreation, talking about the logistics of this piece being in the space. What does that look like for mowing the lawn? What does that look like for overall maintenance? What is that like for safety and things like that? So town staff had a role in the committee just to be realistic about what we were looking at, as we had lots of dreamers at the table too.
And we were making a lot of considerations about how will these be installed, how will they be maintained. Amongst the works that we will be presenting include a really terrific Dan Nardi sculpture, and our considerations about how that can be permanently affixed into the space. So there was a lot of dialogue with both the artists and the town, making sure that we can properly present this work in a manner that best represents both the work and the community.
And so finally, we took all of the pieces that the selection committee was thinking about, what they told us was their top priority. We put them together in groups, and then we had them basically go through the process of rating them and ranking them and making them. So they did that, and now we have our first phase of art to recommend. So the piece you're looking at now is called In and Out of the Blue. This is by a local artist, Dan Nardi. He's globally known for his sculpture work, specifically with concrete. That is what this is made out of. It has a blue stain on it, thus the name. It's a really cool piece. It actually invites you to interact with it. The globes on the right actually have an opening between them, so you can walk into that space. It's about 2.5 feet tall. You can sit on it. Where we're planning to place it, we'll show you a map in a moment, but essentially it'll be in a nice green space within the park area where we think kids are going to enjoy it as well. And Dan was really excited because he lives in the neighborhood, so he will not have to miss his art. He'll actually see it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a really beautiful piece. All of us know Dan's work. We've seen it at ISU's campus and Northern Illinois University campus, a lot of other places. But to have work of this caliber from a local artist that, as Beth said, is in the neighborhood, it's really terrific. It's a great opportunity to showcase this work for generations.
The next piece is called World, and this was a very popular piece. I think everyone in the commission really, really liked it. What you're looking at, the color is essentially like a stained glass, so it shows the sunlight through it beautifully. We feel like we have a really good spot for this. Mm-hmm. It's also what you're looking at is a photo from Halstead in Chicago, so it's been on display in outdoors. It's done very well. and it will be available for us when we open up the sculpture garden.
Yeah, and having human scaled work like this, slightly larger than a person, it's very engaging. It's a colorful piece. It's something that will capture the light and engage audiences of all ages.
This is a Sugar Creek artist, right?
Yeah, Jeremy Burdett. If you've gone to Sugar Creek for last several years, Jeremy's typically had the booth on the far end of Beaufort Street by Linden. He brings in his pieces, and it's a perfect spot for buyers to pick them up. But he's been very successful at Sugar Creek, and he's a welder by trade who's moved into the arts. He teaches welding for the union and just does wonderful work, has been very successful at our festival, and it's exciting to be able to include him here as well.
And he's out of Bartonville. All of our artists that we selected were out of Illinois. And then just to give you context, this is the front and back of the same sculpture that you're looking at in this image.
Yeah, so Sean, this is his first art that will be in a public collection. He's been part of a collaborative doing projects, but this is his first individual work that'll be in the setting. It was very popular with the commission, and I think it'll be a stunning thing to include, and will engage people in a lot of different ways. It's more narrative than much of the other work, but I think speaking to the community where they're at with something that is beautiful and whimsical is a good choice.
I think Mercy hasn't seen this yet. Have you seen the bird? Yeah, thumbs up from Mercy, our birder on staff. This is about 9 feet tall. This is a big piece, so it's going to be impressive when you see it in this space. And it is indigenous to Illinois. So you might remember this image. This is the sketch, essentially, of the space and where we are, at this point, imagining this first phase of art to go into. Just to start from that lower left side, so D is that piece, that area where I was talking about, where we could put Dan Nardi's piece. As we talked with the Parks and Rec group about just good sight lines at that intersection, having a piece that's only 2.5 feet tall, won't block anything, it'll be safe, but it's also near a space where children have school every day, so we feel like that will be a fun opportunity for them to engage with the art. The way this has been designed, it's really clear when you can engage with the art, and it's really clear when not. If it's up on a pedestal or it's surrounded by landscape, you're not going to be invited to climb on it. And we will have signage and things like that as part of this plan when we actually get everything installed. Right now, we are thinking the bird will be on that middle plaza, and then World with the glass will be at the B mark, and then probably where it says C is where the Happy, Happy, Happy piece will go from Jeremy Burdett. And I would point out the largest plaza at the top there under the big tree, that is the existing memorial called Circle of Friendship for the ISSCS. So that is getting special treatment as well in this process. As you can see, the sidewalks and the special pavings and landscaping are different than what is currently there. They needed an update anyway. Some of the stuff was dying and definitely blocking things that were important in the historic space as well. So this was just good timing. And so what's next? Once we get the contracts secured with the artists, we've already talked to all of the artists. We know the plan to get the pieces here. It's just going to be a matter of when to schedule it. As we speak, demolition is already happening on site. Some landscaping being torn out. Also, our initial concrete and specialty paving is supposed to start any day now with Autobahn. And then in the spring, when we get our in-house work done with the final sidewalks, benches, signs, and landscaping, and then we'll bring in the artists to install. And all of the artists want to be there, which is great because that also presents us with an opportunity for public engagement. So when an artist is on site, after they've started breathing again, after they've watched their piece finally be installed, they can talk with students at the Illinois Art Station. We could, depending on what time of year we actually end up getting this done, we could invite public schools. We could have some fun with that and see what is available. But all of the artists are really excited to do that. And then finally, I mentioned in summer of 2026, because the Route 66 Centennial Celebration is, for the town is going to be held at One Normal Plaza, which is where our big Route 66 sign is. And there is, again, a lot of history there, but also a new sculpture garden. So it's just one more thing to entice people to stop on their route through the area. And then a block and a half away is the Sprague Super Service. So it's a nice space for us to do that. And this will be its big reveal. So that's where we are.
Thank you. So our request of council tonight is to approve a resolution to acquire the pieces and spend the funds in totaling $69,750. So basically is the execution of the contract for between the town and the artist.
Comments or questions? This is a great project, by the way, and well-chosen art. It's diverse enough that a little something for everybody there, and it's a great start. Great start.
Thank you.
The one question I had was that one piece of concrete with the balls in a ring. I just wanted to make sure that it was okay for people to climb on it, specifically kids,
Yes.
because it's just too enticing to try to keep them off of it.
It was in a green space at a university for 2 years, and it survived. And it was definitely sat upon, and probably other things. So
Yeah.
we feel confident it'll be fine.
It's currently in the walled plaza that Dan has outside of his studio, and I've climbed on it. So we should all be safe.
It's definitely within the fall standards, as they say.
But you know,
Rigorous testing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But
for science.
I just really like all the pieces, and you must have had a terrible time choosing, and I'm just glad I wasn't on that committee.
That's why we have a working group, because I certainly wouldn't want to be the sole person responsible. And as much as Doug loves that, it's more fun to work with a group.
It sure is. And really, we wanted this work to be selected from the community and have that community voice. There were a lot of things that we can consider in future opportunities to expand sculpture or look at other public art opportunities, but the committee was really engaged, and when we put it out for a vote, the responses were immediate. So it's been a lovely project.
The only thing else I wanted to share was that the Chamber of Commerce had hosted a cities tour in Iowa that Scott and Rory and I had attended, and the one city was very proud of its public art, and they did rotate pieces to keep interest in it so that people never got tired of coming into that space, because they knew there would be changes to it. And I never thought about leasing some sculpture for a matter of years so that people could see it. I mean, that's a wonderful option to be offered.
Yeah.
And many sculptors that do public art have a body of work that regularly goes out, and I think that's one of the advantages we can have taking these incremental steps, is we can build the collection and the space to be something that continues to engage our community for years and years.
That's definitely part of the plan for lease.
Okay, thank you. First of all, very good presentation. If that wasn't rehearsed, it was fantastic. You guys really seem to play off of each other very well. And thank you for stepping us through the process. Clearly very rigorous, so thank you for those details. I recognize the economic impact, and I've spoken to both of you about that, the economic goodness of public art in a community. So please know that that's where I'm coming from with this question of either of you. Talk to us who are, collectively we have a fiduciary responsibility, right, to our budget, to the taxpayers, and so forth. Speak to us a little bit about the business case for investing in public art. What does that mean? Why would that be a good investment when all the other things that a municipality has to spend money on? Some not nearly as intriguing and enticing as the things that you're saying, but we've got police, we've got fire, we've got public works, we've got water, we've got all the things. We have facilities. why do this?
Sure. So what you're talking about are how are tax dollars expended, and how are we reporting to the community that we're making a good investment?
Yes.
And ultimately, the same money that could go into fixing a curb can be recouped from the attracting businesses to our community, attracting people that can say this is a place that they want to live because of the investment in cultural enterprise. And everyone who comes to, let's say people are doing Route 66 and they want to visit Terry over at Sprague's, and they stop over here and they can see this art. And so that's giving them the opportunity to spend more time in our community and spend more money in our community as well. We're also attracting businesses. As businesses look for places to locate, they want to find that creative class of workers, those people that are engaged with more intellectual function, that are engaged with creative thinking. And what we're announcing to potential businesses is that that is what the community is. When R.J. Scaringe was looking for a factory location, you know, he went to Coffee Hound in downtown Bloomington where he saw Roger Harris's drawings, and he said, oh, this is a place I can invest in. And what we're announcing to business leaders, to potential residents, is that we're a community that has a rich cultural life, and we support the arts, and we support cultural enterprise.
Well, and that art there is an economic sector of that, right? There are people in our community, this is how they make their living. There's an entire university or two in our larger community that are graduating artists and have people teaching art who are creating art themselves that they are selling to communities all over the world. We have local art in communities all over the world, so it's nice to have a little bit of that here as well. Right. So it's showing that art is work and that we do pay for it. Because it's a reflection of who we are as a town, but also the quality of what we want to last. And we want this to be a piece. You look at some of the best sculpture, even in the Midwest, you know, the stuff that you go back to and you enjoy and you have memories with, you know, they take care of it. It has lasted. It's continued to bring people in. Even the stuff that's controversial. You look at the Bean in Chicago, which actually is called... something about sky cloud.
Sky.
But, you know, that was a controversial piece, you know, and how many people are traveling to see something like that, right? Now, we don't have the size for that level of spectacle. But this is a pilot, and it shows that we are able to do the work. Because the last piece of this, I think, answer is when we invest in art, others who are already investing in art want to invest in the community. And so every time that we're showing that we are doing it correctly and we're doing it with community engagement and with good intent and with good maintenance and care plans, that means that state and federal dollars and private donor dollars that could be going into art projects are more likely to end up here. That was something that we were working on with our NEA grant for the possible mural on the underpass. What have you done with us before? You know, and so you have to kind of prove, you're willing to do this, and we're doing it, and it does lead to future grants. And some of the communities that Doug referenced earlier that are in Illinois have received significant grants because they started small, and that's why we recommended a small pilot so that we can start small, control the controllables, and hopefully attract more.
Yeah.
Very good.
The Americans for the Arts Cultural Impact Calculator tells us that for every person that attends a cultural event, outside of ticket prices, outside of parking, they're spending $35 per person per event. So the arts are an economic decision.
Right?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you for taking some time to put some numbers to that, like I said, to a business case. Maybe if I can follow up with some specific questions, probably more for staff, and it's been touched on a few times here. What about the maintenance? What do we anticipate in terms of a line item for keeping that, or if you're able to answer?
Yeah, well, that's part of when we wrote the RFQ. We were specifically asking about that. What is the material? Is it made for the outdoors? When we do the contract with the artist, they'll have to give us a care plan. But none of the materials we selected need special care. They're what the roads are made from. They're what playground equipment are made from. There are evidence pieces all over the community that show that they can take wear and tear. Some of it is just expected, and that's just the way the art will look. And some of the stuff will require a little bit of care, but that's something that we can manage. And it's not a high dollar ticket.
No. And even the concrete bird, that pigment is infused in the concrete itself. It's not just painted applied on the surface. So the artist has intentionality in the use of material.
Okay. Will we continue to budget for public art going forward? Is that our policy, our intention?
I think that's a council decision.
Okay.
That's something we will make as part of the budget process.
But that's not, so that's something that we will review each year as we go through. Okay. All right. Those are all my questions. Thank you for the business case answer. Appreciated that.
You're welcome. Mr. McCarthy.
Mayor, I guess I'll start off. I think that this is a great discussion about, the business case, because there is one, but I actually got a text message from a community resident asking my position on this tonight. I'm like, wow, that's unusual, but sure. They wanted to make sure that I was supportive of public art and proceeded to tell me a story that they were in D.C. in an agency and looked on the wall, and there was a Harold Greger piece. And they went to take a picture and were scolded and stopped and said that they didn't have the permission from the artist, which time she texted Harold and asked him if she could take a picture. I think our community is paying attention to this, and there's good support here for this, and I'm happy for that. I won't rehash the business case pieces, but I also had the opportunity last month to be in Holland, Michigan. And if you've been to Holland, then you know. I see a few people in the audience shaking their head. They have a close to the Central Business District park where they've invested heavily in art. And happened to be talking to one of the business owners in one of the little shops, and they said that is the busiest place where people who come here hang out. And everybody takes pictures there, and it's all the shop owners love it, and we all kind of look after it and take care of it. But and so a business owner testimonial about that, and it's municipally invested and the like. But so it was cool to see, actually, to run into another community doing that, because we were starting this to see how it was received and how it was used. But last, I just want to say I know you looked at artists from everywhere. I appreciated how the community worked and how you all figured out how to do that. I wouldn't, as my counterpart said, I wouldn't want to be on that committee to try to sort it out, but you seem to have a good process for staying within the budget, because that's always going to be a consideration for us, obviously, as my
Under
counterpart
budget,
said.
just to be clear.
We have a, yes, proof of concept, but I was very happy to see that somebody here in Normal, Illinois, obviously, Mr. Nardi's work is widely known, but it was great to see him or some local person get in this pilot, and that they were willing and had a piece that qualified for what we're looking for. So I am supportive. Thanks.
Further on the item? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Roberge?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. That resolution is approved. The only item of new business is a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss matters of personnel. Before taking that motion, we have no public commenters post-meeting. Are there concerns or comments? Of course.
I just wanted to remind people that leaf collection does not begin in Normal until October 27th. In my neighborhood, on my dog walk route, there are already 2 homes that have put their leaves into the street. And to avoid leaves clogging up the storm sewers, it is asked that people put them on that grassy area between their sidewalk and the street. And there is a good interactive map on the town's website that can tell you when they'll be in your zone, because it is not done weekly with the same schedule as the trash collection.
Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you, Mayor. As most of the community know, ISU just wrapped up their homecoming week on Saturday with the football game and the homecoming parade. I just want to kind of do a shout out to our local law enforcement community and the town staff and ISU staff. I had a number of people, 3, 4, 5 people at the end of the parade comment on the stepped-up presence on the streets and how more safe and secure everybody seemed to feel around, and that they were very appreciative of the very attention to the detail and the security presence and all the comfort that brought to the event. And so thanks to everybody. Normal Police Department, I know I saw some county sheriffs out there. I think I saw some state police on the roof, and they seem to be everywhere. So thank you.
Thank you. A motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss matters of personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Roberge.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy.
Aye.
Mr. Preston.
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz.
Aye.
Mayor Kus.
Aye. We are adjourned to exec.